Bitcoin is pumping, but there's something huge that you are not being told, and it needs to stop right now. As you know, Bitcoin loves to have some tricks up its sleeve and surprise the high majority. I do not want you to be shocked with the move that Bitcoin could be making right before our eyes. As you know, Bitcoin has been pumping since its low of 53,000 and is pumped well into the 60s, getting everybody excited. Everybody's at the edge of their seats, waiting to see what Bitcoin is about to do next. But Bitcoin loves to throw a huge curveball in the mix and take the world by surprise. And it's dropping clues in the charts that we are going to uncover together right now. We're going to split today's video into 3 parts. We have price action, which has a yellow arrow, mean caution. We're going to cover the price action, and we're going to cover this moving average right here, which is going to play a major role. Middle of our screen, also yellow, caution in the RSI. Bottom of our screen, the star of the show, Stochastic RSI. The moment that we've been waiting months for is upon us, and we have a green arrow. We're going to get to those 3 parts of the video, and then towards the end, I'm going to tell you what you should be watching for and how you are being lied to about this pump and the tricks Bitcoin has up its sleeve. Get ready. This is going to be a big one. Now let's get into it. Something big is coming. July 24th. Get ready. Hi, I'm Steve. I quit my job over 13 years ago. Been traveling the world since, thanks to my trading and investing skills. Join me for sponsorship-free TA with genuine value that actually works. Subscribe. We're on Bitcoin US dollar index, and we are on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, as I mentioned, we're going to cover this price action. Critical pieces of information happening right as we speak. Middle of our screen, RSI. Bottom of our screen, Stochastic RSI. Let's start with price action. As we start with price action, the thing you noticed right away is that we have this green moving average, which is the 21 SMA. So if you go to your indicators and you type in moving average, you type in SMA, simple moving average, you'll be able to pull that up. You're going to have that set to 21. Pop it on the weekly scale. It will look exactly like this. Why would you do that? Every single bull run holds this 21 SMA as support. Every single bear market holds this 21 SMA as resistance. It's a simple moving average and one that you can use for the rest of time, and we are holding it right now as resistance. We broke it most recently with the candle on June 24th, and then we proceeded week after week after week to hold it as resistance, and we are battling it as we speak. Now, what we notice about the price action with Bitcoin is that for about 115 days, 120 days, we have been range bound. Range bound means that we have this high price of about 73,000 and change acting as resistance. So each rally up, we're seeing resistance at that 73, we bounce back down. And we rally back up, we're seeing again resistance at that 73 and change, and we come back down. And then we rally back up and we see resistance at that 73 and change. The markets are 2 types, trending and range bound. Trending is trending up or trending down. Range bound is when we simply build market structure to get ready for the trending move, which is what Bitcoin is doing now, which is why you need to be ready now. This is critical. We had broken this level right here and then held it as resistance for a few weeks and still range bound. But there's a problem here. We had a pivot low back here in April, the end of April 2024. Right? This marked our critical market structure here. The problem with our recent candles is that this was a new pivot lower low and a move outside of our typical range bound move. This is a critical red flag. I want you to take this piece of information, hold it in the back of your head. We will come back and revisit this. This is a major clue. I want you to notice this clue. Put this clue in your pocket. We will come back to it. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. Let's get to the middle of our screen. RSI, again, overbought, oversold. As you know, when we reached this 88 level, it was one of the most overbought times of Bitcoin's entire history. Obviously, we had to cool off, right? Now, as we had this cool off in the RSI, something dramatic happened where we had price fall a little bit, but the RSI fell a lot. Now, why did the RSI fall a lot and price action didn't follow? Well, RSI, again, is overbought, oversold. So we literally got pretty oversold here. How oversold, you ask? We hadn't been that oversold since the area of here, which was September of last year. So almost a year ago, we were that oversold. We reached a very similar level to that of that time period when Bitcoin was hanging out at about $24,000, $25,000. There were moments in this rally, in this move down, that we were so oversold, we hadn't been that oversold since 15, 16,000. That's how this move has affected. And this is a huge clue. We have a arrow here that's yellow. We should make it red. This is a major, major clue, and one that we're going to spend a lot of time on later in this video, because if you know where I'm going with this, there's already a huge clue that Bitcoin is banging you over the head with as we speak. It's in plain view. It's right in front of you. It's in this chart. Pure facts, not my opinion, not my emotional opinion, not what I'm being paid to say. I don't take paid ads. We have never taken paid ads, but there is a huge clue banging you over the head as we speak right now. We're going to get to it. We're going to uncover it. But it has a lot to do with this RSI and this huge move down in the RSI, which is very unorthodox. It's the market screaming to you that something doesn't smell right. We'll uncover that in a little bit. But let's understand this, right? Structurally, where are we at with the RSI? Well, we had this pivot high. We fell all the way through tons of layers of what should have been our support. We even broke this blue line here, which was at about 51. We told you on the weekly scale with the RSI, there's one simple rule. Put a line at 50. Why? Because in every bull run, we usually hold 50 on the weekly RSI as support, and we usually hold 50 on the weekly RSI as resistance during every bear market. So every bear market, resistance. Every bull market, support. It's one simple thing that you can put in your arsenal just to make more sense of Bitcoin for the rest of time that you're in Bitcoin. It's very, very easy, very, very simple. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. So far, you have this 21 SMA. You throw that on the weekly chart. You have the 50 line on the RSI. You throw that on, and already you're far above most people with understanding Bitcoin, with these two simple things. Now, let's dig into it further, because not only did structurally we hold the structure of what we did back when we were 24, 25, right? We held serve, we held structure, and now the real test begins. Now Bitcoin has to break this pivot high here, which is at about 70. That's the first test that Bitcoin has to pass. If it doesn't pass this, we have huge trouble on our hands. And we'll get to that later in the show. But we have to pass 70 on the weekly RSI. Now, why is that? Well, Bitcoin is clearly in a downtrend, and this is not up for debate. This is not something that we can debate. Well, I think it's an uptrend. Oh, I think it's a downtrend. These are just pure bona fide facts. We had a high, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high while making lower lows. If you go into the dictionary and you look for downtrend, it's continuous lower highs and lower lows. So by definition, there's no other way to describe it than a downtrend in the RSI. Period. End of discussion. If you like facts, you're going to love this channel, so hit the subscribe button. Now, as we have this, what we have right before our eyes is another test. A test before the test. You see this pivot low here? This pivot low is from May 6th, 2024. That same pivot is the pivot high of June 2023. So structurally, this is the next big test for Bitcoin. Where is that level? That level is at about 63. So if you look on the weekly chart and you look at the RSI, overbought, oversold, the first thing you're looking at is 63. The second thing you're looking at is 70. And Bitcoin has to get above both of those. Not tomorrow, not the next day. We're talking about the next several weeks to a couple months. Bitcoin has a little bit of time, but it can't mess around with those two levels. It has to get above those two levels. More on that later. But again, there's something blatantly obvious in the charts that we've got to discuss. It's a big red flag. It's in multiple positions in the chart that we need to discuss. So structurally 63, structurally 70. Why do we need to do that? Well, we've established we're in a downtrend. The only way to reverse that to an uptrend is to take out this one and take out this one. Then Bitcoin will technically be in a transition phase from a downtrend to an uptrend. And once Bitcoin can do that and be in that transition phase and then continue its uptrend, then we're technically in an uptrend and we can't argue another way, right? We have to look at it factually based, not, ooh, I have a feeling Bitcoin's going to go up. There's no feelings here. We're not playing with our feelings. We're playing with facts. We're playing with real money here. So you've got to be buttoned up and look at pure facts, not what you hope, not what you wish, not what you heard, not what you anticipate to happen, not I have a feeling. No, take all of that, throw it directly in the trash. That's where those things belong. We discuss facts, period. Now, when we look at the bottom of our screen, there's a couple things that we have been waiting for, and we've been waiting for them for months. As we've said for 3 months now, this is the story of the weekly stochastic RSI pumping momentum into the market and battling the 2-month candle. This is the storyline we've been creating for 3 months, and we're finally here. We have been waiting for the stochastic RSI cross. It happens every 6 months. It was scheduled to happen in July or August. We have been anticipating July or August, and we are here. But now that we are here, let's pump the brakes and understand what is going to happen. This is what we had to say last week or the week before to prepare everybody for the stochastic RSI cross. Roll the clip. Mark my words, when Bitcoin has a stochastic RSI cross up, there's going to be a lot of momentum in the market and prices are going to start pumping. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, how did this happen? This happened out of the blue. And you're going to look on your weekly chart and you're going to say, nope, every 6 months like clockwork, this is what happens. So in that clip, you can see, we're like, hey, here's what's going to happen. The market is going to start pumping, not randomly. It's going to start pumping precisely when we have a stochastic RSI cross. And then everyone's going to get overly excited. So just be patient. Look at the facts and understand the story that Bitcoin is painting. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. We have a stochastic RSI cross. That is undeniable. Now, what is a stochastic RSI cross if you're new? We need the blue line to get on top of the orange line. Once the blue line crosses back above, we have momentum on Bitcoin's side. Bitcoin's price can't rise without momentum. You look at when we started to rise, it's when we had a stochastic RSI cross. Just like I told you previously, it was scheduled to happen in July or August. We're in the month of July, we're here. The only problem is we haven't confirmed it yet. Now, what does that mean? Well, as I mentioned, we need the blue line to get on top. What we also need to happen is the blue line and the orange line to confirm above the 20. Now, why would we do that? If you look at it, we have a lot of fake outs in the market. And this is one simple rule that you can apply for the rest of time to eliminate some fake outs in the market. A fake out is when we have a bullish cross and everyone gets excited, but it doesn't last very long and it crosses down. Similarly to this. Right? So the developer of the stochastic RSI, I think they developed it in 1971, something like this. He said, watch for these two lines to get above 20 for a bullish cross and below 80 for a bearish cross. Simply put, right? So when we have this bearish cross, when the blue line crosses back under the orange, we can get relatively excited that it's going to be bearish, but we will confirm it when those two lines get below the 80. So that's a simple way to look at the market for the rest of mankind. Now, you can also use the same rules that I just said in every one of your favorite altcoins, especially on the weekly scale. It makes it very easy to understand when things are going to pump and when things are going to cool off. It makes it very, very easy. Something big is coming. July 24th, get ready. Now, when you look at it, you can say, okay, Bitcoin was scheduled July or August to have a bullish cross. We just had a bullish cross. We have the blue line above. The orange line is not. The earliest we can confirm this is this Sunday, 11:59 UTC time, PM. That's when we can potentially confirm this at the earliest. There's not possible to confirm it before then. You can get relatively excited, but we will not have a confirmation unless Sunday, 11:59 UTC time, PM. You look at this exact chart right here on the weekly scale, Stochastic RSI, you see the blue and the orange above the 20. If that is true, we have an official Stochastic RSI bullish cross, and we've got momentum. What we've noticed is that Bitcoin's price started pumping. Great. That's by design. That's what is supposed to happen. So there's a bigger thing at play here. Something bigger is here, right in the charts, right in front of you. As I told you, the storyline is this Stochastic RSI is going to put momentum into the market, and prices are going to pump, and people are going to get excited. If you look around the crypto space, what's happening? Momentum in the market, prices pumping, people excited, right on schedule. What they don't know is that this Stochastic RSI has a very specific job, and if it doesn't deliver, Bitcoin is going to roll over and things are going to get worse. There's no way around it. These are just facts. Now, I need to paint a very clear picture here of this storyline. This is 3 months in the making that I've been sitting right here in this chair discussing with you what has to happen for Bitcoin. Now, let's break it down in a simple way. Bitcoin had its recent high of that 73,500, let's call it. And we don't even need to roll the clip. You know, I put out a video right when we were at 73,500 over 100 days ago, and I called for a surprise correction. What's happened since then? You know that. We don't even need to roll the clip. You've already seen it. What's happened now is we've got this Stochastic RSI, there's momentum in the market, and prices are pumping and people are getting excited. But what they don't realize is that 2-month candle still has tremendous power, and it's a battle between the two. So simply put, what needs to happen for Bitcoin is we have to have this momentum confirm, we have to have momentum come into the market, and Bitcoin has to make a new all-time high. If Bitcoin doesn't make a new all-time high with this Stochastic RSI cross, we're in trouble. Now you may say, okay, so are you saying that if we just make a new all-time high, we're in the clear? Absolutely not. Here's where it gets very interesting. And here's the big curveball. And here's something that really could take everybody by surprise. Once again, we're just going to cover the facts here. I mentioned there's a huge clue in the RSI earlier. Here it is. It's right in front of you. I don't know if you saw it, but take a look. Let's say, hypothetically, we have this confirmed. Now, we get a couple weeks down the road, we get a month down the road, 2 months down the road, whatever it is, Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Great. People will go freaking crazy. You know that. I know that. That's great. But that does not mean we're out of the woods yet. What needs to happen, imagine this. Bitcoin is up at, let's call it 79,000. If Bitcoin is up at 79,000, where will the RSI be? Given the fact that price didn't drop very much, but the RSI dropped tremendously, there's a huge clue here. It's highly likely that if Bitcoin reached a price like 79,000 to make a new all-time high, the RSI could be at something about 79-ish. Now, what's the problem with that? If price makes a higher high, clearly, unequivocally higher high, 79 unequivocally a higher high, the RSI would be at a lower high, making what? Divergence. What kind of divergence? Bearish divergence. Not any bearish divergence, not on the hourly, not on the daily, not on the 3-day, on the weekly. Bearish divergence at a new pivot high. Strong divergence. I need you to understand that Bitcoin has to not only make a new all-time high, we have to make a higher high in the RSI, or we're going to have bearish divergence. There's no way around it. This is not my emotional opinion. This is not what I hope is going to happen. This is not what we're anticipating. This is simply cold, hard facts, trading 101, charts 101. Undeniable, unequivocal facts, which is why you subscribe to the channel. We just talk about facts, period. So Bitcoin has to make a higher high in price, and it has to make a higher high in the RSI. Here's the problem with that. The RSI just reached one of the highest levels it's ever reached in the history of Bitcoin. And that's also not my opinion. When you zoom out, it's only been up here a handful of times. You can count them on your hands. Literally. So we're asking Bitcoin to come from one of the lowest points we've seen in almost a year to somehow get to one of the highest points we've ever seen. It's asking a lot of Bitcoin, and there are some other clues in the charts which we have to uncover. This is just one of them, but simply put, we're asking something of Bitcoin that seems a bit outlandish. It seems almost inevitable that in some time from now, call it a month, 2 months, 3 months, we're going to be sitting here, you and I, we're going to be looking at the charts and we're going to be saying, oh boy, Bitcoin did not get back above 88 on the weekly RSI, causing some trouble in obvious divergence. That's if Bitcoin somehow makes a new all-time high. Keep in mind, we've been range bound for about 125, 130 days. So this is what we have in a simple way with Bitcoin. And this is what they're not telling you about this pump. This pump, you know, people are going to get excited. They're going to start buying in, but Bitcoin always has some tricks up its sleeve. And I want you to focus on the facts. So let's uncover all of these facts that we've talked about in today's video, and we'll talk about them in sequential order so you know precisely what to look for. Number one, we need the RSI to break the 63. That's test number one. Test number two is to break the 70. That's in the interim. You know, we need that in the next month. That's got to happen for Bitcoin. We need the Stochastic RSI on Sunday to confirm. We need the 63. We need the 70. Then the next test for Bitcoin is a new all-time high. We've got to get above 73,000, whatever. Let's call it 74,000 and above. Then the next domino to fall is once we reach an all-time high, making a technical higher high in price, we need the RSI to also make a higher high, which means we've got to get above 88. But you and I both know we haven't been above 88 more than a handful of times in Bitcoin's entire history, and that's just a bona fide fact. If you go take a look here at the 88 level, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. 8 in Bitcoin's entire 14-year history that we've been above there. And the last time that we were above there was here in January 2021 when Bitcoin made its top. Those are just the facts. So what we're asking of Bitcoin is a tall task, and we'll see what's going to happen. This is the storyline of the weekly Stochastic RSI versus the 2-month candle. It is 3 months in the making and was right before our eyes happening. And I want you to look at these clues and look at these facts. Remain level-headed, and just remember, this is Bitcoin. It always has some tricks up its sleeve, and I want you to remain level-headed through it all, whether we're going up, down, backwards, or forwards. This is what I want you to focus on, the cold, hard facts. By the way, shout out to everybody on my email list. A few weeks ago, I broke this down well before it happened with the battle of the Stochastic RSI versus the 2-month candle. And I gave my actual opinion several weeks ago of how this is going to play out. It's happening exactly as we anticipated, but my prediction is only in the email list. So shout out to you if you're on my email list. Hit that subscribe button. Something big is coming. July 24th, get ready. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.